first couple of years in judo, I was local, local competitions and stuff. Nothing too serious. But my goal was to make the Olympic team or try out for the Olympic team when I was older and had obviously more experience. So, I won. I didn't win a lot of like junior nationals championships. I think I won one, and then some silver medals and bronze and stuff in junior nationals. And then senior nationals, I won a few. I think I won 4 senior nationals and some silvers and some bronzes. A couple Pan Am championships, bronze medals, and Pan Am Games bronze medal. And then I made the Olympic team, which was the ultimate goal in 2004. And I took 9th. I went 2-2 at the Athens Olympics, and it was for me that was pretty amazing because I wasn't really expecting to do that well. I wasn't like a super competitive person on the world scene. Wasn't a world beater, but for me to finish 2-2 at the Olympics was awesome in my eyes, and so I was happy with that. Yeah, no, it was exciting. Plus, it was in Athens too, so to go back to have the Olympics there, and it was amazing. It was a really, really amazing experience. After the Olympics in 2004, I went home to Oregon for a year, and then the following year, I wanted to try out for the 2008, so I moved out to Boston and trained with Jimmy. And then Ronda Rousey, I think, came about the same time. We all lived in the same house together, called the Judo house, and everyone was, the team was training for the 2008 Olympics. I wasn't super technical, so it was more like a scrappy type of style, fireman carries and Sainagis and drop Sainagis and things like that. At the time, living in Colorado at the Olympic Training Center. And I had been there since I graduated high school in 96. So after high school, that fall, I moved out to Colorado Springs. And, my goal was to try for the 2000 team. I didn't make that team. I just wasn't experienced enough yet. And then, so I set my sight 4 years later for 2004. So during those 4 years, that quad is you're looking to gain points, right? You're looking to be the number 1 ranked person in your division. For when Olympic trials comes, you have a better chance of making the team. And every 4 years, they kind of change how people made the team. Sometimes they had Olympic trials. I think in 2000, it was just whoever had the most points in that division got to go to the team, and there was no Olympic trials, so it kind of changed every now and again. So going into the Olympic trials, I was just trying to stay healthy, get as much training as I could. We travel different places and different clubs and try to peak as best we could for before the trials. We're doing our running, or lifting a few times a week, and obviously probably training 2 or 3 times a day. So obviously the Olympics is a huge international event. I don't know how many. I think there's 10,000 athletes total there during that time. And it's about 3 weeks to a month long. So we get out there, I think about a week or 2 weeks before it started, just to acclimate and go through just processing and kind of just figure things out. Obviously it was I think it was in August, so Greece is pretty hot in August, very humid. First thing is you go through and you get all your gear, your equipment, right? And it's pretty cool because they give you a shopping basket or 2 shopping baskets, and you walk down this line with your team, and you just go and you get all your Olympic apparel and bags and stuff like that. And when you're walking through the tunnels and you come out in the Olympic Stadium, I think there's 80,000 people there, and it was full. It was just an incredible seeing the amount of people, and you're just walking all the U.S. athletes around the track, and then you end up kind of lining up in the middle of the field. Yeah, it was awesome. We watched the Olympics. I think it was on TV. So I started in the 88, so maybe it was the 88 Olympics even that we was on TV. Mm-hmm. And they had judo in the Olympics. So I was like, oh, cool. Mm-hmm. That seems like a cool goal to have. And I wasn't really interested in team sports in high school and stuff like that or growing up, so it was more the individual stuff. The grittiness you have to be to wrestle, I think that carries over and helps when you're doing judo. Mm-hmm. And I think wrestlers are some of the toughest people on earth, so they have to be if you want to be a good wrestler. So I think that if you can have that mental toughness and that grittiness and understand the grind, it helps in pretty much anything you do, especially judo. I'm definitely making the next team, so it really drove me to push myself even harder. And I had 4 years to get better and make sure that it was going to be me that made it this time. Considering I wasn't a world medalist, or I wasn't placing or medaling in some of the A-list tournaments and stuff like that, so my goal really was just to make the team. I obviously wanted to do well. Obviously, I'm not saying I didn't want to gold medal or to medal or be on the podium. Obviously, that's what I wanted, but you have to be realistic with what you have, right? So just making the team would be very tough in itself, and then if you can do well while you're there, obviously I think at the time there's 32 competitors at the Olympics. That was the max number that they had. So it was really just to make the team do as well as I can leading up to Olympic trials, because the Olympic trials, again, you see a lot of heartbreaks and stuff like that happen at the trials where, if you don't win, you're not going, your life's work up to that point is over. You're training to make the Olympic team, and at the end of it, there's no money. It's pride, which is, to me, that's fine. That's something that money can't buy, is making the team, or even if you medal. Like the UFC, I think, started in '93, and my dad and I would watch it. We'd rent them, get the pay-per-view, and watch it. And Hoist Gracie was out there, and he was submitting people, and it was cool to us because we knew what he was doing, like the chokes and the takedowns and the arm bars and stuff like that, because it's all the same stuff we do in judo, right? I wasn't thinking about doing UFC at that time. I was like, I want to make the Olympic judo team. I want to finish that out. But I was like, oh, that's cool. The judo guy is doing well in UFC. And one day I told myself I would try, if I was still young enough and healthy enough, I would try to train MMA. And that was kind of my motivation, was kind of seeing him. I was like, well, if that judo guy could do it, I've seen other judo guys who do it. Why wouldn't I be able to do it, right? I think I could do that. So I didn't make the team in 2008. Then I moved out to Boston in 2005. So immediately right after I retired that summer in 2008, I found the best MMA school in my area, and I was like, all right, let's give this a go, and got right into it. It depends. I mean, in some fights, you be in that kind of like Zen-like state where you're just kind of like, your body's just reacting, and you don't really remember it. It's just kind of and that was one of those cases where my body just reacted to the feeling of what was going on. Like, I didn't think about it. It happened so quick that I wasn't like, oh, Seyanagi. It's just he ended up being my back, and I'm like, oh, I know this. My body knew what to do, and it just automatically went to that. Like, I don't think I ever trained. I wasn't training that specific throw and no-gi and stuff like that. Maybe I was, just because obviously that was one of my better throws as a left side Seyanagi. But it just happened. It was crazy how it happened and the finish, and then it was just like a viral sensation. Yeah, no, it was cool because it was on YouTube, I think, the next day, and we just kept watching like how many people were watching it. It's like 300,000 people saw this. So it was kind of like, I guess, my claim to fame or something in the MMA world. It was cool. It was a cool feeling.